When is the last time you felt 100% caught up? Please, I love to put it in the comments below. I'd love to hear about it, right? Because here's reality, you don't. There's always the next project, the next prospect, the next COI, the next thing, right? They're always the same thing in my world.
Hi, this is Coach Joe Lucas, and welcome to the Magellan Network Show. My goal inside of this communication, this show, is to share with you my nearly 30 years of coaching some of the most successful financial advisors in North America. We're going to be talking about strategies, syntaxes. We're going to be bringing guests on from time to time, and I'm going to share with you what's working now. So think of this show as sort of like a little one-on-one kind of mini coaching cast, if you like, where we're going to be going in depth from time to time on strategies to help you grow your business, get more effective, become more efficient, find balance in your time management, grow your business, and quite frankly, whatever else is going on in the world today. So before we get to today's episode, I'd love for you to do a couple things for me. Number one, make sure that if you're watching this on YouTube, that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're doing the audio, make sure that you give us a review on whether Spotify or Apple. We'd really appreciate that. And quite frankly, that does help. It does matter when you rate things and like things and subscribe to things. It helps us get the word out to more of the industry. And lastly, I have a very special gift for you. Go to MagellanNetwork.net, so one word, MagellanNetwork.net, and I have for you a complimentary membership, 100% gratis, where you can tap into about between 50 and 75 hours of masterclasses, forms, tools, templates, and strategies. So please go ahead and make sure you go ahead and get that claimed. Smash the like button and subscribe. And please go ahead and leave us a review on whatever podcasting platform you're on. And now, let's get to this week's episode. Hi, it's your Coach Joe Lucas, and welcome to this episode of the Magellan Network Show. Today, I want to tackle something that I think is very prevalent in our industry, but yet nobody likes to talk about it. And what I'm really talking about is burnout, advisor burnout. Doing this for the 30 plus years now I've been doing it, I see it all the time. Advisors not taking enough downtime, lying to themselves, going through the motions, acting like shopkeepers. So I want to do a couple of things today. I want to talk about how you get there and why, and then what to do about it, right? And also I want to make sure I make this comment. I know a lot of younger advisors listen and watch this show. And first I want to appreciate that. But do not think for a second that, oh man, I only been doing this for a year or two or three, that, man, I can't afford to take a vacation. Like, yeah, you may not be able to afford to take a sabbatical. You may not be able to afford to take 2 weeks. But don't fall into the trap. I don't care how old or young you are. Burnout's a real thing. Just like an athlete, pitchers are on pitch counts, right? Basketball players are on load management, as they like to call it, right? Football's got its own thing going. Professional golfers don't play in every tournament, obviously. So there's a lot to be said about, keeping yourself, what I call at peak physical, mental, and emotional condition. And part of that is rest and recovery. It just is, right? And so what happens, I think, a lot of times for advisors is they feel that they can't get away because, oh my God, what if my clients need me, right? Or I'll take some time away once I get caught up, which is like the biggest lie ever. So I'm just curious. I'll ask you a question. I'm curious how you answer it. And I don't care if you've been in this thing for 1 year or 40 years. When is the last time you felt 100% caught up? Please, I'd love to put it in the comments below. I'd love to hear about it, right? Because here's reality, you don't. There's always the next project, the next prospect, the next COI, the next thing, right? They're always the same thing in my world. Man, I could do this thing 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and I still find other things to do. All right?
So if your concept is that I'll take some downtime once I get caught up, this you are burnt out. Guaranteed it. Now, how do I know this? There are probably 2 or 3 stories I'm going to share with you briefly today to make the point. So one story I'm going to share, this is probably a story from maybe 10 years ago, maybe 12. One of my clients works out in New York. Just good, I'll say it the way I need to say it, just a good dude. Cares deeply about his clients, great husband, great father. But, his idea of vacation was he would take his family in the summer for rent a house down the Jersey Shore for a week. That's what he'd do. And then he'd take a little time around the holidays. But, he had tax loss selling at the end of the year. Like, he would literally be in his office New Year's Eve day before the market closed, just in case somebody needed to do some last minute stuff. Seriously. I'm not kidding with this. So his wedding anniversary was coming. I think it was his 20th or 25th. And he mentioned this months in advance in a conversation. And I said, well, what are you going to do? He goes, well, I don't know, man. We got married in Hawaii and we've never gone back. And I said, and I can hear it's like he's kind of thinking about going back, right, and stuff like that. And so I said, look, dude, why don't you just go back? Like you can, look, I know your business. You can do it. It's not like you're not gonna put your family in a cardboard box under a bridge. You can go do this, right? And so I kind of pushed him to get it done, right? And so the day comes, and he's gonna leave. And so we talk a little bit. I forget when it was prior to. This is when we were doing phone calls back then, and off he goes. And I think he's going to be there for 10 days, maybe 14. It's a long time for him, very long time. And it was by day 6 or 7. I get this. I know that I've got to sell. I see he's calling me, and I'm like going. Why is Bob calling? Like, why is he calling me? He's on his anniversary thing. And so I pick it up because I figure I think it was out and about. I wasn't in a session or anything. And I go, hey, Bob, what's going on, man? Is everything okay? He goes, man, I just want to let you know something. I said, what's that? He goes, thank you. I said, why? Well, you're welcome, right? But what's going on? He goes, I woke up this morning different. I go, what do you mean you woke up different today? He goes, I'm no longer burnt out. I feel good. There's just this kind of restful calmness around me. I've not felt like this before in a long, long time, or maybe ever. And he goes, now I know what you're talking about when you say you got to get away, right? Because here's the problem in our game. If you're an athlete, your body will physically let you know you're overworked, overtrained, overused, whatever. You'll get hurt, your performance drops, or both. In this game, it doesn't happen. You just show up. You lack intensity throughout the day. You're just getting through the day. You're playing office half the day. You're checking the boxes, but you're not driving the result. That's what it looks like, right? You're getting up with the morning thought of how do I get through the day, not how do I drive results through the day. Big difference. So the second story is one of my clients. This is recently. It's actually earlier this year. His sister works. She's an expat. Works in Singapore. He works in Georgia. Great guy. And he lets me know. And again, same scenario. Not enough downtime. Takes the fam to one of the beaches here, in Georgia or northern Florida, for a week in the summer, and then spots it here and there. Grabs an extra day at a conference, but no. And this is what I'm going to drive it real quick. If you're burnt out, a long weekend doesn't fix it. If your phone's on 2% charge and then you drop it on the charger for 5 minutes, you're not getting to 100%. You can probably play that along a little, but it's not going to recover, okay? So his sister in Singapore, and he comes back. I think he was there for 14 days. And he goes, I remember because I talked to him really, very recently after he arrived back. And he goes, hey, I just want to let you know I know what you're talking about now. I go, what do you mean? He goes, hi, Coach Joe Lucas here, and I'm just breaking here for a moment just to do a couple quick reminders. Number one, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel or our podcast.
In addition, please leave a comment or a review. Those things really matter. And share this episode with 3 of your colleagues inside the financial services space. And lastly, make sure that you go ahead and claim your free membership inside of Magellan Network. Now back to this week's episode. By about day 5, 6, like I was feeling good. Like I didn't realize it. And I go, what did you notice about that? And by the way, he had to fly halfway around the world. So this was not like around the corner. I said, what did you learn about this? He goes, and this is really one of the messages I want to leave you guys with today is, 7 days is not enough. Because it normally takes you about 3 or 4 days to unwind. And, then you start thinking about getting back, right? Like, what am I missing, right? So if you get 7 days, it takes you 3 or 4 days to unwind. Then it takes you then you're winding yourself back up in day 3 and, day 5, 6, 7. So what do you got? 24 hours where things feel good? It's not enough. If you've been at this any length of time, and I'm not going to put a lot of this again, what's going on with your family, your personal life, where you are, your career, and your biz. So I'm going to be very cautious about what I'm going to recommend here. But here's what I'm going to say. I think if you don't take a minimum of, what I want is 16 weeks a year. Like if you said to me, Joe, if you could design like an ideal scenario for an advisor to be totally sustainable, right? They never have to think about retirement because 16 weeks, man, you can do a lot of that. We can do a lot with that, right? Like I do 3-week sabbaticals, so that's 9 weeks. That leaves me another 7 weeks for a week here, a week there. So I'm not gonna say I'm retired. That doesn't sound good, but I've got a balance and integration point now as I get ready to enter in my 60s that I can roll for another 10, 15 years. I don't ever plan to retire, but there'll be windows of time where I kind of mini retire, right? So think of like 3 week sabbaticals as like little mini retirements, right? And that way you never have to retire. Because 3 weeks, now you can do 4 if you want. That's cool too. Man, there's not a place in the world you can't get to if you have 3 weeks. There's not. Australia or Antarctica. You want to go to Europe. You want to go anywhere. I mean, 3 weeks you can see a lot. So that's our goal, is getting you at least 1, if not 2 sabbaticals a year. But in the point here, so again, I want 16 in my per goal. I will take whatever you're doing and double it, okay? So for some of you, like doing like 2, I take 2 weeks vacation a year. Like, what, you got a factory job? Like that is born of the you know where the 2 week vacation came from annually? Do you know? That in the industrial age, they had to retool the factories. They had to service them. They had to do maintenance on them. So they would shut them down. And that's when the workers would go on their vacations because they had to shut the factory down, right? You could not work if you wanted to. That's not our game today. I mean, we do things totally different. Now, one of the, and I think I talked about this earlier this year. So how do we pull this off? It's a process, and by the way, I have a masterclass on this in Magellan Network. It's free, so you can watch it, walk it through it. It's called How to Build a Strategic Calendar as a Financial Advisor. So your self-accountability tool is your strategic calendar. This is not your Outlook calendar. This is not your Redtail calendar or your Wealthbox calendar or your Salesforce calendar. It is a calendar that you run your entire life on, personally and professionally, right? And what you do is think of it like a calendar, like a month. Now, you can do a Yahoo calendar, Google calendar. You can build a second Outlook calendar if you want. I mean, there are ways to get it done. But this is really about you blocking off time for you. And so there are 3 types of time. There's renewal time, strategic time, and tactical time. And I'm not going to go do the masterclass. I'm going to say, hey, go to Magellan.net, sign up, take it 2 seconds. Right there on the landing page, you'll see the link to the strategic calendar masterclass. Just watch it. It'll make all the sense in the world to you. But here's the bottom line. I would say 70% of this industry, if not more, they're walking around burnt out. You're crispy. You don't even know it. Why? You have nothing to compare it to because it's been that long, right? And I don't want to hear, so I know some of you are going to say, oh, Joe, but how about what if? So look, I take 3 sabbaticals a year, right? I just said that, 3 sabbaticals. In fact, if you're watching this episode, chances are maybe if you're watching this in early May, chances are I'm still on one. But here's the thing. If there's a 911, I'll handle it with my clients. My clients, like my team knows how to get a hold of me if something hits the fan. Like, no problem. I call that a freedom tax. We have a lot of freedoms in our game. And so one of the taxes that we have to pay is sometimes we have to take a client call or Zoom when we're away, when we're on vacation, when we're on sabbatical. So what? Small price to pay, right? So the strategic calendar is our accountability, our self-accountability tool, right? So again, my goal for you is 16. That's like hey Joe, what is the optimal? It's like, what's winning the balanced championship, right? 16 weeks. Three week sabbaticals, and then another 7 weeks in there, right? Pretty simple. Now, if we're not there, here's what I want you to do. You don't go. I mean, you probably could, but I don't recommend it. If you're doing like 2 weeks a year, say, okay, man, starting this year, I'm going to do like, no, 16, like, no. So here's what you do. If you're doing 2 weeks a year now, over the next 12 months, so again, we don't wait for another, don't play the calendar year game. Don't. So if it's May of 2024, which I think is when this episode's coming out, so start, hey, June 1st to May 31st of 25, I'm going to take 2 weeks, I'm going to make it 4 weeks. If I'm doing 3 weeks, I'm going to do 6 weeks, right? If I'm doing 4 weeks, I'm going to do 8 weeks. Just double it, right? And what I want you to do is put it in the calendar. Just put it in the calendar. Like, that goes in first. And I know somebody's going to go, yeah, but Joe, I got little kids, or my partner / spouse, they have a regular job and they can't get away. Fine. Stay home, do a staycation, do a series, just visit with you. I'm not saying you have to go to the four corners of the earth here to go get some downtime, but I need you to shut your game down. Yes, I would love you to get away. But it's okay to grab time and just shut it down and get away and do the things that maybe, for some of you, maybe just picking up your hobby again, right? Or maybe just reading, maybe just like doing nothing, which trust me, for me, it's hard. I'm like my wife said I'm like a shark / German Shepherd. I need a job and I need to keep moving. So when I do my sabbaticals, I travel, because otherwise I get a little, I'll work, right? Because I love it. I don't consider it work. But I do keep calendar discipline to my renewal time, because what I do is very mentally draining. So one of the things that I had to get really honest with myself, and I don't coach around, just a process, which I can be just like a robot. I coach around people, individuals, and that requires a lot of mental and emotional energy. So I do pay a price for that. That's why I need to keep plugging. I need to plug the battery in, right, on a regular basis. Super, super important. So again, this for many of you is just giving yourself permission. That's all it is. It is not, if you're doing fee-based business, you know what? Deposits happen, man. You get paid. It's not like you're dropping tickets. You don't get paid by the hour, right? So just make sure that you're doing, this is a big thing in our business, in our industry. It really, really is. And like I said, the way it shows itself is you're showing up and you're getting through. You're not being excellent. You're not being the best. You're just trying to get through the day and do what you absolutely need to do, and that's it. That's an existence. That's not the game. Okay? So, go get that masterclass from MagellanNetwork.net. Thank you for watching and listening. See you guys next week. Thank you for watching or listening to this episode of the Magellan Network Show. Hey, if any of this resonated with you, I invite you to come to MagellanNetwork.net, and we have a powerful group coaching community of like-minded advisors. Come in for a trial. You and I will have a one-on-one conversation. Let's see if I can help elevate your game, both personally and professionally.